now is the time for the boys of summer. But with the Red Sox hovering around 500, it might be a better time to read a book. I'm here with Bruce Fitzpatrick, and he's the author of the Tony Conigliaro Story. And you can find this book on createspace.com at 373-8481. So if you're looking for the book, that's where you go to find it. So first off, Bruce, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me on. This is obviously a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Originally, I was offered this as a work for hire. Through a set of circumstances, several years later, I came to take the project over. And basically, it was a labor of love. I was given 18 months to actually complete the whole project, both the novel and the film adaptation. And I just was so taken by this, I finished it in 5.5 months.
Impressive.
Yeah. Was to me anyways. What was not impressive was reluctantly having to give it over to the people that hired me, because quite frankly I would love to have had it, and as it turned out in the long run, several years later, I now have been able to take it over. So but it's a labor of love, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have done this.
You wrote it not as a biography, but as a novel. Why did you take it from that perspective?
Nobody had done it before. Nobody had considered. I had the liberty to write it however I want when it was given to me. And there's all the biographies with facts and figures and names, dates, places, and times, but doesn't really capture the essence of what the person themselves were like and the people in their lives. Now, I did a lot of interviews for this. I interviewed Carl Yastrzemski, Johnny Pesky, George Scott, Mike Ryan, Jack Hamilton, who threw the pitch that hit Tony. I interviewed his brother, his sister, his brothers, both his brothers, and his girlfriend, Julie Markakis. I interviewed a lot of people. Jerry Moses was another one. And I got the essence of their personalities, what they were like, stories, anecdotes, all kinds of things that went into the body of that book. And it's all in there. I used a fictional format, but everything in there is true. And it's people that are interacting with each other, reacting from each other, a lot of things, and a lot of things that was not common knowledge prior to this book being written.
Give me an example. What did we learn about Tony C. that we didn't know before?
Everybody looked at his baseball career, and he was known to have liked the girls, and the girls liked him. But most people don't have any idea how devoted he was to his family, his mother and father, his brothers. This came from an era when the family was really tight as a unit, and Tony, in spite of his success, his family always came first. He never forgot where he came from. His was the quintessential Italian family from the greater Boston area, which there's no better place for someone like that to have been born. I married a girl from Italy, so I know of what I speak. And, he just was so charismatic that people loved him for a lot of reasons. The other thing is that people assume that when he got hit in the face, 1967, during the Impossible Dream year, that ended his career, and it didn't. He couldn't come back in 68, couldn't quite get back in 69 because his eye wasn't well enough. 69 he came back and he won the Comeback Player of the Year award. 1970 he won the American League batting title, and that was before he got traded to, ironically, the team that they were playing that night when he got hit. And but he left Los Angeles midway through his first season with them, because it wasn't the same as playing in Boston. It wasn't the same as playing in front of the hometown fans. And he had pretty much gotten enough at that point, although he did come back again in 1975 and played for about half the season as the designated hitter. So his heart and soul were here. And not only that, but at one point, about 1982, he actually won the broadcast position for the color commentator on WSBK and the Red Sox network. So there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of. I mean, it could go on and on and on, but that's a snapshot.
All right. Now, you couldn't help but get into the whole story on the book cover, the picture for the book cover. So
that's right.
I don't want to just keep it to myself. I want you to relay this, tell the story again.
Sure. I'll let people see it. This is the cover of the book here, and the people that did a beautiful job. Basically, this picture, although it looks like it could have been taken last week, This is 47 years old. This picture was taken on opening day, 1964. First home game. It was basically the first game that the Red Sox played after the JFK assassination. The park is filled with dignitaries, bunting. It's packed. And here's this 19-year-old hometown kid coming to his first at-bat in Fenway Park. And this picture here was taken at his first pitch that he received. Joel Horland was the pitcher playing for Chicago. And what happened was Tony swung at that first pitch. He not only hit it over the Green Monster, he hit it over the screen. And it went out on Lansdowne Street. And, of course, people went wild. That's fantasy story stuff, and it happened, in real life. After the game, when he's just surrounded by media, newspaper people, television, you name it. He's answering all these questions, and he noticed there's a guy standing off to one side, and just quietly watching, take it in, watching. A couple of minutes later, he notices him again. Then a couple of minutes later, he noticed him again. And then now he wants to know what it is why is this man just patiently waiting? He goes over and he talked to him. He said, is there something I can do for you? And he says, yeah, I'd really love it if you could sign a baseball for me. Now, in the middle of this rookie, 19-year-old kid's golden moment, he says, all right. So he goes to his locker and he says, tell everybody, hold on. He gets a ball and he signs it. And then he notices that the postman is holding a baseball. He says, you want me to sign that too? He says, no. He says, this one will be great. He says, well, what's that for? He says, well, actually, this one's for you. He says, for me? He says, yeah, I was out delivering mail on Lansdowne Street when I heard this big roar go up from inside the park from the crowd. And a couple of seconds later, I saw this ball come drifting over the net, and it landed right near me, so I went and I got it. And he says, now, once I found out what this was, I decided to come back and give this is your ball. This is your first home run. Here. He handed it to him.
That's very, very, very cool right there.
Touching story, and it's true. That's exactly the way it went.
So this is what we should expect to see in your book.
There's a lot of things like that in their stories, and I mean, I didn't want to write a book about somebody doing the groceries or some other boring thing. This is Tony.
That's a Kurt Warner story. That's your next book.
No. I'm going to stay with Tony. But no, it was absolutely thrilling. It was exhilarating, and at the same time, yeah, there was some trouble in there where, obviously he did get hit, and he had some other things going on, struggles. But that's a slice of life. That's part of the human condition. He overcame those things. Getting hit, by the baseball was the one that most people were aware of, but he had some other obstacles to come too. He had personality clashes with a couple of the players on the team. They just, nobody's fault. Didn't click. He had problems with Dick Williams long before Dick Williams ever became the manager, and he had to work within these things. And there's a lot to be said for him. He had a lot of character, and he was a great guy. People loved him. I think probably from my standpoint, he's safe to say, if not the most charismatic player to ever play for the Red Sox. He's up there in the top three. So, yeah, it was a joy to have done this, and I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity to do it.
Now, you also wrote a screenplay. Was that planned, or did that just come out of writing the book?
No, actually, I was hired to write both the novel and the film adaptation, the screenplay. And I've been doing this for a long time, and my approach is always to write the novel first, where you get all the character information, the development, you develop the plot. They have what they call story arcs, character arcs, that sort of thing, or development of crafting. And once that's done, I then sift through that and take those parts that are in there and use them as the foundation for doing the screenplay. It's a very different format, but it's all in the interest of telling the same story. So I did that, and I used a voiceover in there too. There's a friend of mine that wrote Goodfellas, and he gave me a couple of thoughts, and I changed everything, and I got the whole thing into 119 pages and didn't shortchange the audience, Tony's story, or anything. It really, really came out well, and I'm proud of both of those things. And again, I had such a passion for it. What I was given 18 months to complete was completed in 5.5 months, and I don't think it could have come out a single bit better than it did. I got it all.
So what is the current status of the screenplay? Is it being shopped around? What's the chances of it making it to the screen?
Oh, I think it's got every chance in the world. I really do. The screenplay is getting in the hands of the right people, and there's somebody who's out there doing that.
All right, so once again, the book is The Tony Conigliaro Story, written by this man, Bruce Fitzpatrick,
Yep.
and you can find it online at CreateSpace. Go ahead, give them the number.
Okay, www.createspace.com/373-8481. And I've had more compliments on this book. And there's a couple of things I'd love to say, but I can't because I want to give them away. I like to let readers experience what they experience on their own without me, spoiling anything. So I can just say the people that have seen it, I've gotten a lot of great feedback. The best one that I've gotten of all was surprisingly, people might not expect, but the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame read the Tony Conigliaro story and loved it. And I've got an interview that I did with them, and it's been, transposed into a transcript. And, they loved it. There's other people that have too. So I know it's a winner, and I think people who read it will agree. And ultimately, at some point, I'd love for us all to get together and see it in the theater.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that day then.
Yeah, so will I. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much, Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with the book.
Thank you.